Hi, I'm Karen Pavik, and this is my daughter, Caitlin.
Hello.
We are doing a little cooking, presentation because Christmas Dessert Theater is so different this year, and our role is different this year, but the cookies are still important. So we still need to do cookies for Dessert Theater, but the idea that we had this year was that you would take boarding pass that we created for the invitation to your neighbors along with a plate of cookies to invite them to participate in the Christmas Dessert Theater. We're going to make these cookies today gluten-free. This works beautifully with gluten-free flour. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to whip up a batch of batter, and then we're going to roll them out and get going. Crisco, sugar. So you want to mix this long enough that the sugar dissolves. That's the idea. Okay, I do a splash of vanilla. This is delicious Mexican vanilla. 2.5 cups of gluten-free flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I will add that slowly so that we don't make a mess. And I will not turn the mixer on high when I mix it. Just going to mix it till it's combined. You can chill this, though we have found that it is not necessary. I line the trays with parchment paper, and I'm spraying them just lightly with Pam, just so we don't have any sticking cookies. Okay, this is gluten-free flour. If you're going to make gluten-free cookies, you need to use gluten-free flour to roll them out with.
And just adding a little tidbit here, we have a lot of stuff. You don't need a lot of stuff to do this. I mean, you can literally do all candy canes, all stars, and you literally buy 2 cookie cutters. We've been doing this for a long time, so we've collected over the years. This could be the start of your collection.
And this is our family Christmas activity. I roll the dough on a floured surface. Make sure you flour your rolling pin. But I roll the dough to about 1/4 inch thick and cut out as many as you can. And then just use a regular spatula. This happens to be a bench scraper because we have one here in the drawer at church. I always do at least 1 cookie of every shape per person who will be decorating. You can re-roll the dough. That's what I'm doing now. Just don't do too much flour. Alrighty. So what I have in here is 2 cups of powdered sugar. To that, I will add 6 tablespoons of meringue powder. You can either use meringue powder or Color Flow, both made by Wilton. And I'm just kind of swirl this around a sec, just to kind of mix it up. In the meanwhile, I'm going to add some more of that delicious vanilla. I prefer white vanilla because it doesn't make my icing brown. So clear vanilla. Even if it's imitation, it doesn't matter. It's still delicious, but I prefer white. You could use almond extract if you chose to, but I just like vanilla. So 2/3 of a cup of water, a splash of vanilla, about a teaspoon to a tablespoon. Now this needs to get really wet, and it'll take a minute. We're going to turn it on and let it go for 5 minutes. All right, so here is how the icing looks. It's very shiny and lovely and too thick, okay? So we have to thin it out some, but you want to be really careful when you do this. So this is what if you were to buy royal icing at the store pre-made, it would look like this. And that is too thick to do much of anything with. So you can thin it out to like the consistency of toothpaste and put it in a piping bag and pipe it if you want to be more detailed. We don't do that here at church, but sometimes we do at home. And otherwise you can thin it to about the consistency of honey, and that will be a good flooding consistency that will smooth out and look pretty and even, and that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to add some more water to this. I'm going to put it back on the mixer and add some more water. I bought these at the restaurant supply store. They are not expensive, but the wide mouth bottle is my favorite because of how easy it is to work with. So here's how it goes. I take this and pour in to each bottle. Just kind of try to measure so that you're going to end up, with enough icing to get in all the bottles. So the icing colors I prefer are, these are available at Hobby Lobby. There is a brand called Americolors. Hobby Lobby used to carry them, but they don't anymore. But this is just like them. And they're $1 and change a piece. But they are wonderful icing colors. They're very vivid and rich. And unlike the Wilton gel colors, these squeeze out and mix in beautifully. So we're going to mix some colors. This is how I do it. This is probably not the most orthodox way, but I just squirt the color in and take a knife and stir it up. So like I said, a squirt bottle just to kind of make sure they flow. Your people will tell you it's too thick, and if it is, then just a little squirt of water and stir it back up, and you should be good. Let me have a snowman to start with, please.
Okay.
So snowman, I shop all year for snowman noses, and these are them. They are candy-coated sunflower seeds, and they are snowman noses. And I usually come buy them at Halloween, but sometimes you can buy them this way, and they'll have all the colors, and I usually only use the orange ones. But
except that I don't. I like to use those for Christmas lights on Christmas trees.
So here's another important thing to note is that when you're going to use sprinkles, which I'm going to use for the hat since we don't have any black, you want to do that part first.
So this is a frequent sound in our house when decorating cookies.
Boom, boom, boom.
It gets the icing to the top.
All right, so this little tray, I know you're not going to have this. A paper plate will work just fine. But this little tray I found in the jewelry making section of the store, and it's for beads. But it's wonderful for what I'm going to do with it right now. So since I don't have black, I would use black sugar, but we forgot to bring it with us. Okay, so we're just going to make his little hat with black beads. So one of the things that we talked about among ourselves is with COVID, we're a little concerned that people might not graciously accept your cookies because they might be concerned about their health. And I totally appreciate that. So my suggestion is take your plate of cookies to your neighbor, invite them to Christmas Dessert Theater. If they graciously decline your cookies, thank them and give them the invitation, and please just invite them to join us for Dessert Theater anyway, even if they eat their own cookies. Also then follow up after the Dessert Theater to see whether or not they watched, and that's an opportunity to talk with your neighbors. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little piece of it. Don't be, we're not experts, we just do this. It's just fun. So don't be afraid to try, do it with your family and see if you have fun. Merry Christmas.
Don't forget to join us for the Christmas Dessert Theater, premiering Sunday, December 13th at 6 p.m. Tickets are available to share and download at vgbc.org/cdt.